Hello, welcome to Detox Diary episode 4. So I'm 3 weeks into my detox and I didn't really think there would be a whole lot to report this week because, relatively speaking, my energy and moods had leveled out a bit and preparation had become quite easy. But I suppose that in itself is something important to talk about. So that will be the main focus of what I'm talking about here. But I'm going to start with a little story. So I've just come back from a farm stay from a couple of friends, and I go up there maybe once a month. And when I'm there, we all drink wine, we all cook nice food, we play games and we chat. And that's just the thing that we do. So I wasn't able to do that. And it actually was quite hard. I did struggle with that. I had some kombucha and I had some soda with fresh lime to try to help, but it just wasn't quite the same. And I really, really did miss it. Like, we had a bonfire and we cooked nice food and we looked at the stars and the moon through a telescope, and it just would have been really nice to just enjoy a glass or two of red wine. But anyway, I got through it, and I'm looking forward to when I can go back and actually enjoy a wine with them as well, because it's just a thing that we do. Another funny thing to note is that earlier in that particular day, I'd gone to a winery. Don't ask me why I did that. 3 weeks into a detox. It's not fair, and it wasn't. It was actually quite hard as well. But it was also a good test. Like, you've got to test yourself in the boundaries here, right? Like, I don't have a problem with alcohol, but when you go to like your favorite spots, it's really hard to not associate those things together. So it's a winery that I really love. Beautiful wines of the region, and just a really nice place to be. And so you go there and you have a nice glass of wine or a couple of tastings. And just not doing that was strange. I had a elderflower and tonic. So yeah, that was fun. But it was also interesting, because you don't have to drink all the time, but sometimes it's just association. But I really did miss it. So I am pretty ready for a glass or two. So other things to note from there as well. Oh, I made a beeswax food cover, so that was cool. I've just been looking into that recently about how to make those to try to help avoid using too much plastic, and they actually knew how to do it, taught me how to do it, and then I come home with one, so that was cool. So thank you, Steve and Sophie, if you're watching. Okay, so that's my wee story. Moving more on to the detox stuff. So my energy, so I'm just looking at my notes as I always do because I forget certain things sometimes. My energy has been pretty stable, relatively, and there were a couple of times where it wasn't, but I will get to that in a second. And it has become easier because I have more of a handle on the preparation side of it now. And it's become, cheaper in groceries this week because some of the base stuff has already been purchased. Like, there's coconut oil that's going to last a while, there's laundry powder that's going to last a while, etc., etc. So it was kind of an expensive outlay, but now I have a lot of stuff. So that's good. And I've also figured out the meals that can be made and how we can make them delicious, etc., etc. So it's become a lot easier. What else? So, last time I reported my abstinence from yogurt because I had tried the coconut yogurt, which I found feral, and I tried a sheep's yogurt, and that just tasted really, really wrong, and I just couldn't do it. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just abstain from it completely. But then I thought about how I counsel my nutrition clients. A lot of them have had some bad experiences with food, and so I try to get them to open their mind and try them again with a different mindset. So if I tell them to do it, then I have to do it too, right? And I didn't really think about that, but I'm not that fussy. I'm not that picky, usually. It was just those two things that I'm like, not a fan. Anyway, I did get a new coconut yogurt with vanilla in it this time and other acceptable detox-friendly ingredients, and it was okay. So that was a very good realization or improvement so that I can actually help, because I'm honest as well with my clients. So if I say coconut yogurt, I think it's horrible, they're not likely to go try it. But if I say it's actually the vanilla one's a bit better, try it and see how you go. So that's a good realization. It still wasn't fantastic because I'm used to the really creamy Greek yogurt that I have, but it was okay. And I do intend to use a lot more of these things after this whole detox because I've learned some really valuable healthy lessons, and I can tell how my body responds to them and how happy it is. And so they will continue on. Easy on the coconut yogurt for me personally though, but other people like it. So that's all good, and that's what we'll work with. Okay, so another thing too is I really enjoy doing some healthy baking, and it's not been that difficult either. I've had a lot of fun with it actually, and just replacing refined flours and refined sugars with fruits and vegetables. So I make this really decadent chocolate brownie made from kumara, if you believe that, and it's really nice, and it really gives me that cocoa fix as well. Like I don't feel like I need any chocolate, which I often do. So that has helped to fill that gap. And then I made like banana bliss balls and things like that, which have really helped get through any lulls, or I mean, I wouldn't say I've had any cravings per se, but maybe that's because that's helped. I've also been using stevia, which is a sugar alternative, and it's not for everybody. Sometimes it can be a little hard on the gut for a few people, and I thought that I would be like that, but it's been okay because I haven't used a whole lot of it. It's just a bit, and you don't need that much either. So it's been really cool to be doing baking that's sugar-free and gluten-free and dairy-free and vegan and yada yada yada. It's been fun. On that note too, with the actual food, I've been having a lot more white fish than I was before, and I've been meaning to do that anyway. It's just other stuff has always sort of popped up, and it wasn't a conscious effort to have the white fish. But that's been really nice too, and it's such a light meal and easy to digest, and you can really make it tasty with all the spices and herbs that you can use with it. So that's been a really good win and introduction as well. So I've been enjoying that quite a lot. And also, my taste buds have changed. So I'm really sensitive to sweet and salty and sour as well. Maybe that's why I noticed the sour in the coconut. But carrots taste sweet to me at the moment, which is really interesting, and salt is really, really strong as well. So that's good. And I think cutting out sugar has made a really big difference to my appetite and my blood sugar levels and mood and all that sort of stuff. And I don't use sugar usually. I'm just talking about maple syrup and the odd bit of honey. And it's important to know as well that sugar has at least 50 different names. So if you say you go sugar free, I'm not just talking about the white powder sugar that you pour onto stuff. There are so many different names for them. So the only sugar that I use is maple and honey. Yeah, that's it. And from natural sugars from fruit. So I've cut that out, and it is making quite a difference, which is nice. I've noticed that I'm not bloated anymore, and I don't need as much to feel satisfied. Like I don't need as much food, and I don't need as much sugar or carbs or whatever to feel satisfied. So that's been really good to note as well. And I feel, on the note of chocolate, I don't know if I could handle white chocolate anymore after this, because if carrots taste sweet to me, can you imagine how sweet white chocolate's going to taste? So I'm not going to jump straight into it, but it'll be interesting to see what actually happens there. And I'm going to continue on with the healthy baking anyway. Like I've made sort of like crunchy nut and seed based Afghan type biscuits and stuff that has cocoa in them that gives me the cocoa that I feel like I need anyway. So that's been good. In terms of any cravings other than red wine, the only other thing that I've been really, really missing is my favorite snack, I suppose it is plain flavored, like really salted Kettles potato chips or crisps. I love them so much, and they always go with wine, and I've really, really been missing those. So I will have some when this is finished, but I'll be moderate with it now because I'm feeling so much better. I've lost 4.5 kilos. It fluctuates, but yeah, about 4. So it's been making a real difference. And yes, even as a nutritionist, I do get the odd craving for certain things, and that's okay because it's all balanced, right? And you just try and manage what's worth it, just being sensible with your choices. So that's what I help clients do as well. Another thing to note, I'm just checking the time. To be honest, I haven't had my actual correct dosage for the supplements that I was supposed to be taking, so the Thermophase and the Detox. Firstly, because I feel really full and satisfied from all of the nice food that I've been having, but I also kind of feel like I don't need it. Like the first couple of weeks, it tasted great and it went down well, and I just felt like I really needed it, but I haven't really felt like I needed it as much. Maybe I've already done the job of helping the detoxification process already do its thing. Maybe I was semi-healthy enough in the beginning and I don't need those anymore. So I've still been having them, daily, but just not at the dosage that is recommended. And I'll use them right until the end, of course, but I just don't feel like I need them quite as much. So that's kind of interesting. I have also taken the odd multivitamin, my female multivitamin and fish oil, just to see if that made any difference day to day, but it hasn't made too much difference. Okay, so I did say that I have been pretty stable with mood and energy, but there were a couple of days where my energy absolutely tanked. And so I really struggled to do the normal workout that I do at the gym, and actually on a detox I'm not supposed to do anything too strenuous anyway, but I just wanted to. And so I have done some of that, but I've done a bit more yoga than usual, so I am listening to my body, and I just haven't had quite as much energy as I would like on just those 4 days. And I can tell you why it's 4 days. First, I couldn't really put my finger on it. I put it down to, firstly, it is the middle, so this is mostly for the ladies, and dudes, if you're interested, you should look into this actually more so you can understand your ladies. But it was the middle of my cycle, so I ovulated, therefore I've had some fluctuations in my hormone levels. And sometimes that does make me really tired, like it's quite exhausting what our bodies go through during a whole month's cycle. So that happened, which also coincides with a new moon. And I never really thought that I would think about it kind of like in that way, about how the moon can affect your mood. And there is some science behind it with gravitational pulls and that sort of thing, but I'm like, I probably should read about that a little bit more before I go towards it. I've just associated low energy is usually around a full moon for me, and low mood is usually around a full moon. Sorry, did I say new moon? Low energy is usually associated with new moon, and low mood is usually associated with a full moon. So it's interesting to think about it in that context, but that is the new moon, especially this month, was in the middle of my cycle, so my hormones were all over the place. And then the full moon will be around when I'm due for my monthly. So, it's just kind of association. But it's interesting to think about things a lot. But the other thing I actually realized was that I got glutenized. So glutenized is a term that I use when I accidentally have ingested gluten and it completely destroys me. And it usually destroys me for about 2 weeks. I feel bloated, tired, lethargic. I don't digest properly. My guts is just like ruined. I have brain fog. Like, it's awful. And I feel like I don't even absorb nutrients properly. It's just not a fun time. So usually it takes about 2 weeks for that to clear. But this time it took 4 days, because I remember when it happened, and I remember when I felt better, and it was only 4 days later. So that's a win. And now I have to tell you why I hate gluten. So I had a girly date with one of my girlfriends, and I wasn't prepared. So that was my bad, and it was on a Sunday, and I just grabbed a rotisserie organic chicken and some salad, which was sort of the best that I had in the time available to me. However, the chicken actually it was coated with spices and stuff, but it actually had gluten in it, and I didn't realize that, because it's not typical all the time that that's on there, so it was very strange. But I usually I check everything, but this time I didn't, and I didn't have much of it until I did realize. I thought, I can detect something here, so I stopped, but it might have been enough to just destroy me for a little bit. So all that together is what would have happened there. But before that and after that, I'm back to normal. Like, I feel just normal again. So that sort of sums up my week 3 in episode 4. I've got 1 more week to go. And so, yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm kind of almost on the home stretch here. So it's not too late to donate to Dry July Foundation in New Zealand. If you want to help out, the proceeds go to cancer sufferers. So I'll put the link below so that you can do that if you like. And I'll also put some other links where you can contact me if you have questions about this. And if you could like and subscribe, that would be awesome too. And I will see you next week.